So good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Guanjie Li. I'm from China. I'm a second-year master student from Department of Epidemiology, Faculty of Medicine, Prince of Songkla University. I'm very honored today to be here to present to you my study. The title is Compliance with Regulations of Dispensing Antimicrobials among Veterinary Drug Retailers in a City in Southern China. So let's begin. First, the background. Antimicrobial resistance is considered a global health threat by the World Health Organization, or WHO. It is reportedly associated with the misuse of antimicrobials in food animal production. The veterinary drug retailers, as you can see in this picture, they play an important role in the control of antimicrobial resistance in animals. Then China is the largest consumer of veterinary antimicrobials, according to a study. The country has issued several regulations for controlling improper antimicrobial dispensing. And these were the Chinese regulations. They were administrative measures for practicing veterinarians and regulations on administration of veterinary drugs. However, we had a knowledge gap that the data are scarce with regards to the compliance with the regulations. Therefore, we set up an objective which was to describe the prevalence of compliance with antimicrobial dispensing regulations among veterinary drug retailers in a city in southern China. So we conducted a study, a cross-sectional study using structured face-to-face interview questionnaire. Our study participants were veterinary drug retailers at the stores on the list provided by a local guide. And these stores were in 18 townships within the study city area in southern China. Our outcome of interest was compliance with regulations of dispensing veterinary antimicrobials. They include dispensing with veterinarian's prescription. Second, probing reasons for antimicrobial purchase. Third, providing guidance on antimicrobial use. And the measurement questions were designed according to the regulations we described before. Our sample size calculation, we expected sample size of 113 retailers at 113 veterinary drug retail stores. And the calculation was based on the assumptions that the prevalence of compliance with regulation equals to 41%. And we assume that 95% level of confidence and 10% margin of error. And we presume that 20 non-response rate, and we estimated finite population of 3,000 veterinary drug retail stores in the entire province. Our study instruments was a structured questionnaire, which include the data regarding participants' general characteristics and their antimicrobial dispensing practice. And the study instrument was developed in English, then translated into simplified Chinese. We conducted a pilot study to test the study instruments at 10 retail stores within the study area. We then revised the study instruments according to the feedback from our pilot study. Our data collection procedure, first we select veterinary drug retail stores from a list provided by the local guide using convenience sampling method. Second, we visited the retail store, and for each store, we visit by an interviewer and a local guide. And Then the local guide introduced the interviewer to the retailer, which is our participant. Then the interviewer informed and asked for consent from our participants. Then finally, we conducted the interview, as you can see in this picture. And for each interview, it lasted for 15 minutes on average. Quality control. Our interviewers were master students in public health. They were trained in a 2-hour workshop, and they were asked to familiarize the written study protocol, which included the study background, objective, and the interview procedure and questionnaire. At the end of the workshop, interviewers rehearsed interview with the principal investigator. Data management. We use double-enter data using Epidata 3.1. And we analyze data using R software. We use descriptive statistics, mostly frequencies and percentages. And this is our result. As you can see, half of our participants were male, and they aged on average 48.7 years old. And the average years of selling veterinary drugs was 14.6 years. And most of them, which is 68.4% of them, went to technical secondary school for education. However, 64.9% of them did not have a veterinarian license, though they did receive quite some amount of veterinary training, and the percentage of who received the veterinary training was 84.2%, and 68.4% of them were owner or co-owners of the retail stores. And regarding their self-reported antimicrobial dispensing practice, we found that the antimicrobials and Chinese traditional medicine were equally required by our participants' customers. And the main use of frequent sold antimicrobials was for disease treatment, and then followed by the disease prevention. And regarding the self-reported regulatory compliance among our study participants, we found that some of them, which was 33.3% of them, reported that having at least one customer brought an antimicrobial prescription. And more than 90% of them reported providing guidance on antimicrobial use for all customers, and inquiring reasons for antimicrobial purchase from all customers. So let's move on to the discussion part. Most of our participants were the retail store owners or their relatives. However, in Kenya, we found that a study that 26.3% of veterinary retailers were the owners, according to a study. And this might suggest in China, the veterinary drug business tends to be run by family. And with regards to the compliance with regulations, we found that in our study, most of our participants knew reasons for antimicrobial purchase, and they offered guidance on antimicrobial use for their customers. And these two practices were also recommended by other animal health entities for antimicrobial stewardship. And we've also found that the main use of frequent sold antimicrobials was for disease treatment. This finding was similar to a study in Ethiopia. However, regarding with the use of antimicrobial prescription, we found that in our study, it was uncommon for our participants to receive a prescription from their customers. However, in other studies, such as in Ethiopia and in India, around 65% of veterinary drug retail stores receive an antimicrobial prescription. Though in Kenya, a study found that 100% of animal health practitioners sold antimicrobials without a prescription. So the strength and limitation of our study, we had 100% of response rate, and we consider it our strength. And we have this high response rate maybe because we have the local guys helping us with the introduction to the study participants. And on the other hand, for the limitations, first, we used a convenient sampling methods to get our study sampled. And second, we might have possible social desirability bias because we use face-to-face interview to collect data with regards to such sensitive issue of the law compliance. And finally, our data collection was incomplete due to local COVID-19 travel restriction. So in conclusion, veterinary drug retailers in the study city in southern China had high level of self-reported compliance with antimicrobial dispensing regulations. And it is uncommon for them to use antimicrobial prescription. When interpreting our study results, we need to consider the caveats, such as convenient sampling methods, possible social desirability bias, and the incomplete data collection. Finally, I would like to thank these people. First, Ajahn Wichhaidi from the Department of Epidemiology, Prince of Songkhla University, Hat Yai, who is my thesis advisor, for his guidance and continuous encouragement. Then, Dr. Xianyan Tang from School of Public Health, Guangxi Medical University, China, who is my fieldwork supervisor, for his financial, manpower, and academic support for the field investigation. Finally, all participants and student investigators for their time and effort. And thank you for your attention. Thank you very much. Open mic up.